Thanks for joining us, Reese. So anybody that hasn't met us before, my name's Scott. I'm a chief AI officer at Techosaurus. We're a ed tech company that teach people how to use technology better, unlock the potential in their business and in their day-to-day lives by getting the machine to do more and more for them. I've been delivering a generative AI skills bootcamp since November, and Reese is joining me this evening. Reese was actually on one of our last cohorts, so I'll let you introduce yourself, Reese.
Hello, I'm Reese. I wear many hats, primarily a marketing and communications hat. I work for a company called EPS, and those hats that I wear tend to mean that I cover lots of different bases and have my fingers in lots of different pies throughout the business, which means that AI gets lent on by me very heavily. And I think with the latest developments, it's been a really interesting, and I hate to use the cliche, but I'm going to, game changer.
Awesome, thank you. So we're getting together today. So the course that you went on, Reese, was it's a 10-week course. We did 1 day a week, and it was a real kind of like grassroots, bare bones, right up to creating a business plan, how you were going to incorporate AI. And we went through prompt engineering and all sorts of things. But we spoke and we obviously did a load of stuff with custom GPTs and the whole idea you could create custom agents. And we knew that things were coming down the line. We knew that things like Perplexity's Comet was going to be available and was in trial, and there was betas of stuff going on. We knew obviously DL, which we're going to talk about in a moment, was a browser that was in the pipeline, and you got access to that while you were on the course. But I think the one that surprised us the most was when ChatGPT announced that they were bringing their confusingly named agent to the table. I think it's a terrible name because it really kind of throws everything else out, because you've got custom agents and all sorts of things. But when they announced that and brought that out, that was people knew they were cooking something. We knew they had Operator, which was something that could control a machine and a virtual machine. But to be able to bring that together with its reasoning and logic and the kind of thought process that it can do with things, I don't think anybody saw that coming as quickly as it did. And we were talking just before we got on the call as well, the amount of how they introduced that very, very quickly to, like you say, the pro tier. So it was 200 quid a month users, but within a week, everyone else with a plus subscription suddenly got it, and then team subscriptions got it at the same time. And we're teaching courses at the moment where we're trying to get people just not necessarily to play with it yet until you understand what the rest can do. So that was a real surprise for me. How did you find it when were you first aware of it?
So I think we mentioned Dia. That was the first sort of experience I'd had with the browser that had this AI baked into it. And for me, that was immediately something quite interesting, because I now wasn't jumping between a browser window and chat or whichever what I was using. It was just there, living right next to me. I could ask it questions about the page I had open. For me, that was a really interesting development. When Agent came out on that, I think it was a Friday, they announced it for generally everyone else. And when I got to play with it on that evening, it was just, I don't think I've quite lost that excitement of seeing it move the mouse around, or where you see the little chatbot, the little window come up next to the mouse where it's going through its logic of what it's doing. I haven't quite lost the magic of that yet. But to get it to be able to do things and walk away from it was something that was a little bit mad, a bit of a
pretty cool.
A really cool thing to just see happen.
Like a perfect example of that was last week. I was teaching with one of our associates who's shadowing the course at the moment, and I left the room to go to the bathroom. And when I come back, he said, "Dude, your computer was doing some stuff." And I was like, "Well, yeah, I was playing with Agent, and I'd asked it to, and I'd asked it to look through my emails, and it was systematically clicking and scrolling through each of my emails and reading them and digesting what was there so it could provide me with a to-do list." But to anyone looking, it looks like someone's taken control of your PC, because it's there. There's things moving around on it. And I was playing the two off against each other. I was playing Comet in Perplexity off against Agent in the browser. So it was a really interesting approach to it. But that was the moment when he said to me, it was like, yeah, it's a ghost in the machine. And I was, yeah, I quite like that analogy. I think the best way to really show people is going to be let's have a play. Let's bring some of these tools up. Before we do, I can see there's a few people come online. Um, this is a new platform for us. We can't actually see who's online. It just lists you all as anonymous users. It's fantastic that you can leave a comment on there in the Q&A. There's a Q&A button at the top of Teams. If you press that and just say hello and who your name is and where you're from, me and Reese should be able to see that in the Q&A. But if you don't, all we see is anonymous user and guest. So it'd be great for you to say hello. And yeah, if you've got any questions and things, we can bring that up and discuss it on here. Where do you think we should start off, Reese? Do you think we should start with Dia? Because that's where we kind of started the journey.
I think so. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's a nice sort of break in. Yeah.
Cool. Right, I'm going to share my screen a second. I'll turn this on. We'll leave us on the side there. There we go. Just pick that off. Right, so hopefully you can see that okay, Reese. And if I dive over to here. So let's start off with Dia. So Dia is made by a company that there's probably a few people haven't heard of before. Dia is made by a company called the Browser Company, which does exactly what it says on the tin, right?
There's no process for guessing what they do.
Yeah. So let's just start off on here. So in Dia, it is a web browser. We've installed this. So it's a brand new application. And where we've installed this is a Chromium browser. So by Chromium, it means it's made using the same engine as Google Chrome, which is the same engine as Microsoft Edge is now, which means all your plugins and things for Chrome and stuff will continue to work on this. And when we look on here, we've got this like write a draft, we can add tabs, and it's unlike a standard web browser that's maybe Google first or Bing first. This is AI first, so it's saying ask us anything. So the first thing I'm going to be, what can you tell me about the Browser Company? So the people that make this, and where I hit chat, you see instantly it's come straight away up with it's like I'm interacting with ChatGPT or Copilot or Claude, but baked into the browser. So the Browser Company, here we go. It's referring to themselves as a tech startup. I think they've been around for a bit too long to still be a startup, but they initially made a web browser called Arc. I didn't realize it's only 2023. So Arc was built on Chromium. It had spaces, it had boosts, it was a very techie tool. So unless you were really in the techie world, you didn't really play with it. It was like you see stuff out there like Brave and a couple of other tools and stuff out there. So there was a few different ways of using that. But when we look at that, so yeah, that's what they were doing. Arc got retired, and they no longer focus on that. But yeah, their main focus is now this app. I still don't know. Is Dia mass available yet?
I think it's still invite only.
So let's have a look, just so people are aware. Dia, so still get early access. Yeah. So you can apply for this. That's what I did, and I got access. And then to be able to give somebody else access, once you do have access, there is an option in here. You can go into settings and there's invites, and you can invite other people to have a go with it. But what this is different to compared to other things, so let's go for let's stick with the Browser Company a second. So this is telling me what Dia is, and it's got all this information here. Now if I wanted to, like we've done with ChatGPT or things before, we want to try and digest what this information is. We would normally have to go in here, copy and paste, or take this out of here and into another tool. So I'd have to fire up ChatGPT, I'd have to copy the URL, paste that in, get it to read it. With Dia, we've got this chat in line directly at the side, so we can see that this chat can see this website at the same time, a bit like Copilot in Windows. But then we can say, summarize this page for me. And this is where it started to look slightly different compared to what we've seen before. It's working in line. It's now going to read this page for me and do some bits and pieces. But where this really kicks off is when you get these things called skills. And I'll let you. Do you want to tell the guys what kind of skills you played with quite early on?
I think the skills thing for me was such an incredible thing, because a bit like custom GPTs, as Scott knows, I love a custom GPT and I throw them around like candy. But for skills, they are just the same as a custom GPT. You could write them, but to get one involved, all you had to do was write the short code, which is a / and then whatever name you gave it. The one I used quite a lot is that I wrote one that was used for research. So I had certain questions I wanted to ask about a web page. So I just programmed those questions it prompted them into a skill. I could go onto the page, open the chat window, hit my / and give the skill name, and it just gave me a summary of those questions of that web page in like seconds, which previously would have been a case of copying the link or copying all the text into another window to be able to generate it. I think you used one for writing social as well, didn't you, Scott?
Yeah. So if we show what they look like, so what I've done, I've opened a new tab here. We go to edit skills, and it's exactly like Reese is saying. It's like a custom GPT is something. It's just a prompt you can use again and again and again, right? A skill in here is exactly that. It's a prompt you can use again and again. It's a custom instruction set that you can it's a shortcut. So we've got this one / summarize the web page for me, explaining what they do and key facts. So whereas I asked this to summarize this page for me, if I put in / summarize, it will just run that skill for me. It highlights it, and by me putting in / summarize, it puts exactly what we see in that skill and just chucks it in the chat and does exactly what I need to. The example that Reese is explaining, I've got social scribe, so I've put an explanation in here. This is actually a copy of my custom instructions from a custom GPT, which tells it, you engage in casual and approachable social media posts. What's my output? Sans serif Unicode for bold, italics, all of those sorts of things. So that would mean any page I go on. So let's think of what's something that's new today. Find a blog post from Anthropic about Claude 4.1, which was announced today. Keep it relevant, right? Let's have a look. So it's going into Anthropic.
So Dia doesn't have its own LLM. It hasn't got its own memory. It hasn't got its own one that it uses. Is it piggybacking off of chat? Is that still correct?
When I had a look, yes, they've updated. And there's I haven't seen. It doesn't seem to be updated. I had an email come out earlier about version 4 of Dia's launch today, and in there it's using ChatGPT 4.1. But you can, and you were to go into, and you can kind of click on here and change the engine. I was expecting hopefully to see that on here, but it obviously hasn't pushed out to us at the moment. But when you ask it about what it's using, it doesn't have its own LLM. Much like Perplexity, it will lean on others, and it's using APIs to connect to different tools to be able to do stuff for you. So in this example, I've asked it, find a blog post for me, which just like we would in chat, it's done our search for us. Here is what it's found. So this is all about 4.1, which has been announced today. If I then wanted to make a social post about this, I just put in / social, because that's my shortcut. It's going to read the content of this web page for me, and in a second it should spit out a nice social media post. Here we go. So Claude Opus 4.1 just dropped, and it's all about it's doing it exactly how I want it to. It's got my bold in there for emphasis. It's got my italics where I need to. It's got my hashtags. I can just either highlight and copy and paste, or I can copy and paste here, and take that out and do what I need to. So Dia was like the gateway drug, really, wasn't it, for what we were going to find elsewhere. Dia was it gave us access to this whole idea of AI can see my browser, and from my browser it can digest what it can see in my browser, and I can get it to do things with it.
I think early on, I think we both realised that this is the way that all browsers were going to end up.
Yeah.
I think
hugely.
Probably next saw the next step coming as quickly as it did.
So the next step for me, they both hit on the same day, basically. So I got access to Comet, and I got access to ChatGPT's agent on the same day. Did the same unfold for you?
No, so I got hold of it. I got hold of agent quite quickly, and then Comet was about a week later. And I had a couple of frustrations that I had found with agent. That for me, Comet, which is by Perplexity, so again, it hasn't got its own LLM, but it's using those engines of others. That solved, but then that had other holes that agent didn't have.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah,
So
I had about a
should
week
we
of
look
just
at
playing
agent
with it.
first then? Do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's probably the one that, well, it's the next one that's sort of more freely available.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. I can see a couple things in the Q&A. Let's just have a look. We've got Becky from Dry Gin. Hi, Becky. I've got Fiona. Hi, Fiona. And then we've got someone. Uh, oh, Becky couldn't get the audio to work. So hopefully, yeah, the recording will be shared afterwards. So it's not a problem at all. If anybody's got any questions along the way or wants us to show anything in specific, please chuck it in the chuck it in the chat for us. If you want us to explore a certain thing. I can see Sue and Dan are on board as well. Sue, I'll be quoting you earlier because actually Sue was a guinea pig with something I was trialing. So let's have a look. We'll go over to ChatGPT. Let me bring up this screen on here. So with ChatGPT, anybody that's using this now and seen it, they actually get quite a big pop-up on the screen. They really want people to play with this, and it tells you agent is available and to have a go. Anybody that hasn't had a go yet, it's under tools, and we've got this thing called agent mode here. Now, I've got a couple of examples I've done with agent mode. I put them in a project over here. And if I look in here, these are some of the things that I've done. Some of these I can look into and we'll quite happily show you. Some of these have got, it's accessed some of my private stuff, so I can't necessarily put that in front of you. But how it works is it literally, if I ask agent to do something, it fires up a machine in my browser. So not a full-fledged computer, but a computer that can browse the internet, it can write code, it can use Excel, it can use PowerPoints, and it controls it with a mouse and keyboard. And what's really cool about that is because it's in the browser, it's in the cloud, which means I have a remote view into it. But what it also means is I can task it with something, leave it be, walk away from it, close my computer down. It doesn't matter because it continues running in the cloud. And when it's finished, it will automatically update with me and show me where it is. Now, they've got some safeguards in there. You can do things like ask it to browse around on the internet for you and fill your shopping basket with stuff. But they've put some things in, like if you ask it to send an email, if you ask it to buy something, it will always ask for confirmation before it does something that it thinks is that is irreversible is the best way to kind of describe it. I like that those safeguards are in place. So if I look at some of the things we've done on here, here's an example. So weekly shopping analysis.
I think you and I both tried this very similar task independently.
Yeah. How did yours go? Did yours work well?
Mine worked really well, including it even went down to the point of being able to book a click and collect slot. It selected the right supermarket, like in the local area. It did all of those things. Yeah. It got very confused.
My approach might have been slightly different then. I didn't get mine to book. What I wanted to do was one of the things that really bugs me on Tesco shopping is there's not like kind of just like a baseline basket you can set up. They want you to explore. That's their market, right? That's how they make money. They want you to do, oh, what's this? I'll buy this shiny thing. That's exactly how it works. So what I did, we've got on here, please review my Tesco order over the last 3 months. So for this, it needed to browse around. I want you to find anything that I purchase regularly, find the top items, and that would be my baseline kind of shop. So if we have a look at how it works, if I click on here, it tells me on here, first I'm going to access their account. This is what I'm going to do. Are you happy for me to do this? I press continue, and it fires up a machine. And it's absolutely fascinating to watch because if we press play on here, we can see the mouse cursor and what it's doing. It opens up Chrome. And in there, log into the Tesco's website, but it stops. It gets stuck because it doesn't know what my Tesco's login details are. So that's really key. That's the first thing we need to see. So as this comes up, and we see in a second, it's telling me where we're at. We've got to accept the cookie banner. I found that quite interesting. By proxy, it accepts cookies. It doesn't decline them. Like there's something in its code for that. Every site I've seen it look at, it has to accept the cookies to carry on. But as it goes through, we see what it's going to do. And it gets to this point and goes, right, I need to log in. So at that point, it asks me to take control. And that's when it's really interesting. When you take control, ChatGPT can't see. So when you're putting in your username and your password and you're flicking around tabs and stuff, and taking control is just like you've got a mini laptop inside your laptop. It's the best way to describe it. you can move the keyboard around and you log in. And once I'm logged in, I took control. Did get confused on this one for me. It did say it looks like it's still on the Tesco sign-in page, and I had to help it a little bit. I had to log in and actually go to my orders. So and then it picked up from there, and it was okay. And then at that point, it worked for 18 minutes, and it did sit there. And literally, you can see it just started browsing through all of my history, and watching it move around was. I found it in a way it was quite sweet to watch because it doesn't know necessarily what it's doing. It kind of stumbles around a little bit, and you see little things like, "Oh, I clicked on the wrong thing. Let me just go back and I'll undo that." And
I found that almost reassuring, though. That sometimes
Yeah.
it does click on the wrong thing, and it goes, "Oh, hang on, I've made a mistake. I need to take a step back here." And I found that sort of, well, I mean, it's quite funny watching it make mistakes, but it's quite reassuring that it's not doing everything perfectly straight out of the box.
Yeah, and it shows something that's really key. Something that we've spoke about before was a lot of people assumed with AI we're going to be able to just operate with the data layer. So behind the user interface, this bit here where we're clicking around and moving stuff around and doing what we're doing. And because this isn't doing that, this is using the mouse and keyboard. The user interface is really important, and it being intuitive is really important because the whole idea of this is I could log into Xero, I could log into Sage, I could log into a custom CRM that was built by a one-man band for a business to use. As long as it's intuitive, the LLM is looking at the screen and understanding what is there and making decisions on what it needs to click for it to be able to move around to complete its task. And I found that really, really interesting and quite important as to, it means when we are building solutions and things, we still need to make sure they're user friendly, because even if it's a person not using it, the computer needs to understand how it's going to get around and do what it needs to do. So yeah, as we watched through this and we got those 18 minutes of it doing stuff, it come back then and it goes basically, this is everything we've bought. It broke it down into weekly staples, baseline. And then I said, right, so there's actually a problem here. It's basing this on product codes, which is really data analysis stuff. That's what it should do. But I don't always buy the same version of the same product all the time. Sometimes I get, one of them's not available, so I get a different size, or I might get a different brand of the same product. So I was like, don't just compare like for like product codes, but products that may be the same. And this one, what was really cool here, it didn't have to go and do the same thing. It had written its own storage. It knew everything that it already found. So at that point, it then put everything into categories. So we've got protein shakes, plant-based milk, fresh berries, and it's got, you've got strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, and it grouped them all together. But all of these I can click on, and it gives me little citations of where it found, and all the screenshots it saved along the way, which was really cool. I was really, really impressed with it. I did the same test in Comet. Comet was just as good, and we'll show you Comet in a minute.
I went one step further in the fact that I actually asked it to place a complete order to work out what I buy regularly, put that all into a basket, get that all ready for to go and do an order. I then went one step further and said, I also fancy doing a chicken curry this week. Can you find me a recipe and then add all those ingredients into my basket?
Okay.
And then so I tried to make it as complicated as I can and said, I don't need all the spices, and I just gave it a picture of my spice rack.
Okay. Yeah.
And it went through, it worked out what spices it needed from the recipe. It took out the spices that I already had, realized it didn't need to buy those again. And then it went through and added everything in the right quantities into the basket, ready to be ordered.
Very cool. And then did you get to the point where, were you testing, or did you actually order these things as well?
I actually went all the way through to ordering, but again, it just gets to that point of stopping at essentially buy. So it does everything up to that point, even to the point where it got confused because this is sitting on a server in America. I'm in the UK. Mm-hmm. It booked a time slot that was between 4 and 5 p.m. When it then looked back on the page had defaulted to the local time zone. So it now said it was trying to do a click and collect order between 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning, which confused it for a little while until it worked out what had gone on, which was really interesting to watch. There was also a very interesting safeguard that I don't know if you've come across this, where I asked it to buy alcohol, and it just flat out refused.
Okay.
First of all, it just wouldn't put it into the basket. So then I took control, put it into the basket, and then gave it back control, and it took it out of the basket and said, I can't purchase those age-restricted items.
That's a good thing. That's
I think it's
there's
a really
a safety thing, and I suppose anything that's kind of it hasn't confirmed you're an adult. It hasn't confirmed what you should be doing. I'd like to think those kind of guardrails are in place. Guardrails don't seem as prevalent in Comet. We'll talk about that in a minute. But if we stay on this one, let me start a new chat a second in here. Let's use agent and let's just give an example. So I want you to, what I want you to do, log into my OneDrive for Business, create a Word document and type the words hello world. Just turn off sources a second. Let's try and because it's spotted, I typed the word OneDrive. Yeah, that should be fine. Let's have a look, see what it does. It's trying to connect to my connectors, but we'll leave that to go. So that's gonna, like we say now, it's gonna spin up a computer in the cloud. It's going to use that computer in the cloud to hopefully log into my OneDrive and do a couple of things. There we go. Setting up my desktop. So like we say, this is a virtual machine that's available in my web browser. Now with this one, there we go. I'll open your OneDrive for Business. By initiating. So I'm hands off. I've got no control here. I see on there it said there's a problem. Pages redirect hasn't loaded yet. I saw it say I pressed the wrong button as well. But you see it kind of stumble around, click on sign in.
I've played with this so many times and still haven't lost the joy of watching the mouse move around on its own.
Page is still blank. Address bar has changed. Oh, we're in. Create. It spotted that create moved. Yeah, the navigation has changed. Now with this, it's using the new version of 365 as well, which is the Copilot first, which I'm not a big fan of, but it's gone in here to create a document. Wait for it to load. Now, this should open a new tab because that's what it would do in the real world. Didn't work. So you see it's trying to error fix itself. It's clicking elsewhere. I'll wait for Word to complete. There we go. Let's open the Word document for me. I'm in Word Online, so it can literally see and control. And then hopefully in here it's gonna, there we go. I attempted to write the word, but it hasn't appeared. Try again. And I've seen this. I asked it to do things. One of the things I asked it to do was create a spreadsheet for me. And then I wanted it to find all of our competitors. And from our competitors, I wanted it to list them in the spreadsheet and put their web address in, put the services that they offer, their key contacts, and all sorts of things. And when I was watching it, it was really interesting to see when it put in certain things in the cells and they overlapped, it couldn't click between them. So you could see it and this is what I mean by it kind of fumbles around a little bit. You could see it going, well, I've clicked here and that hasn't worked. I've clicked here and B1 is, I've clicked in A1. So I'm going to try doing something else. I'm going to try using tab or use the arrows on the keyboard. And it does figure itself out. It's not necessarily quicker than you doing it yourself, but what it is quicker than is the fact I can leave this to this and go and have a coffee while I'm doing something else. This is just a very obviously crude example of what it could do. But on here as well, I can leave here. Like I say, it's in the cloud. I can go back over to here. Let's have a look at the other things that we did. So in my agent folder, my to-do list prioritization, I asked it to go through my emails. And I gave it open access to my emails, and I wanted it to go through them all, review my email inbox, and prioritize and give me a to-do list of what needs actioning. What do I need to do today? Focus on emails that are awaiting my reply, and do that. So one of the first things it did that I spotted was an issue. It went to Gmail. Now I use Outlook. I use 365. That's my fault. I haven't told it to go to 365. Here it then said, I'm waiting for you to log in. I took control and actually just moved it to 365, logged into 365, and then said, right, here's my emails. And it went, okie dokie, off we go. So for 13 minutes, it sat there and went through my emails. And it did give me this fantastic priority list. But this was one of the first times I saw something. It found an email from someone that I knew wasn't in my inbox. And I said to it, how did you find this email? That's not in my inbox. And it said, well, I didn't see it in the inbox either, but it was in your Outlook folder called waiting on response. So at this point, I felt a little bit, not violated, but I was like, you've gone further than I asked you to. And what it had done is it said, I found it in your favorites, and it sits right next to my inbox. That's my filing system. So theoretically, I could chastise it for doing something I didn't ask it to. But I could also look at it as it's gone above and beyond to look, well, where else is there? And that was, at that point, it felt like a little bit of an overshare for me. But when I look back at my prompt, I haven't told it anywhere in there, don't go in any other folders. So the onus really is on me. And it's really, really important, I think, when we do these things, you've got to get your prompt nailed, right?
You've got to get that restrictions part, that prompt spot on. I did a little bit of a test with Agent the other day, and we have our vehicles tracked through an online service. So I asked it to track down a specific vehicle and find out how long it had been parked up for. I knew how long it had been parked up for because it was parked outside the office. And off it went. I told it what website it was going to. It only got stuck at one point, which was where actually once we're logged in, we have 3 different accounts, and it didn't know where it was going for. But it did a very interesting thing once it actually got into the right space, because it typed the number plate in, searched for it, didn't find anything.
Yeah.
But it realised that actually the number plate might have a space in it. So it went back, put the space in, and I gave it as a solid number, solid set of text. It fault found.
Yeah.
And eventually found the right vehicle, found where it was, gave me the exact location it was and how long it had been parked up for. And that's all because it's a web-based system, and it can just use it.
Because it's intuitive, right?
Yeah. So does that mean that actually making websites intuitive is possibly more important? Because we see Agent fumbling around. Yeah.
Because if you think that's doing that in something that it probably knows quite well, when we see it fumbling around in Excel and Word, because it would have been trained and it's seen all the training material. But when it's something that's unique and bespoke, I think that's gonna cause some issues. Yeah. Here we go. Help some right. So I asked it while you were talking then. So it completed what I wanted to. It created my Word document. It's put "Hello World" in there. But then I was like, "Oh, can you go and browse?" But it's saying I can't browse external websites.
I think you may have switched web search off.
Hold on. Agent magically turned itself back off. So let's leave that back in to this Word document. Right. Yeah, Agent turned itself off where I was jumping around. So that should probably do that and carry on. So like I said, we had that browsing around in its emails. Another one I want to do, if I can, and then we'll while it's cooking this, I'll dive over to Comet, because I'm aware we've got just over 10 minutes left. So in Agent, right, I'm going to now say log into my LinkedIn and send a message to Reese Preston saying, this is theirs. Now with this, I was thinking examples of really key ones of this. If you were to, because there are tools out there that will let you link in like to social media stuff to be able to send messages and stuff to people, like mail mergers and all sorts of stuff. I was thinking with this one, with LinkedIn, they're all kind of third-party tools. They all cost money. which is problematic sometimes. This one we can see it knows my LinkedIn credentials because I've already provided them. It's now searching for you. It's found you. It's clicking messaging. Now, if I was to give this a spreadsheet of a load of people, so let's say like warm leads or something that I want to send some stuff out to, I could actually say for each of the people in here, take control of my machine and send a message.
So that's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
I asked Agent to go and do some market research to find potential customers, find websites, find LinkedIn profiles of people that I could sort of drop some messages to, and it went off, found the right people. It then logged into LinkedIn to be able to message them, and it was doing all of that. So as a market research tool, it was phenomenal because it wasn't just going on and doing what everyone can do and do a Google search. It was also going into LinkedIn once logged in and doing searches for what used to be hashtag search, but LinkedIn doesn't use hashtags anymore, but subject searches that traditionally you would have had to do completely by hand because you can't automate them.
Yeah.
So as a next step of that, be able to search like that was really quite impressive to watch.
Yeah.
And the fact that I could let that go and go off and do something else was that was it's nothing short of something quite sort of impressive to see happen, and the fact that it's gone so quickly.
Yeah, it's got a bit of, it's almost like a bit of magic dust to it, isn't it? It's like we knew it was coming, we just didn't expect it to be here that quickly. And of course, this is the worst version of this you're ever going to use. It's only ever going to get better. So on this one, the message is ready to go, is drafted. Do you want me to press send? And I'm going to press yes, please. So it's asked me, it's confirmed, which is really key. If I explain just quickly something I did with this one. So Sue, I know, is on the chat on here. Sue works in agriculture, and I'm probably going to do this a massive injustice trying to explain what this task is that she does. The best way to summarize it is there's a PDF that tells her. I sent it. It thinks there was an error, but that's fine. It said it sent it. It sent it. If you were to send a response, I can ask it to log in and see if there was a response and all sorts of things on there. So it's really cool. Sue gets a PDF of land. It's not land registry. It's kind of the boundaries of fields, sort of agricultural fields, all to do with hedgerows, fencing, hectares, all the sizes, everything, and regularly has to go and download that information. So you get a PDF, it gives you all of these areas, and you have to go and log into each one through a very convoluted government system to then be able to download those PDFs, and that takes time. And we were talking about this, that when you write instructions for this, it's a bit like writing instructions for an automation. You're saying, if this, do this, do this, but you're writing in pseudocode. You don't have to know a programming language. If you can write a list of instructions that you could give to the Office Junior to follow, this should be able to follow them. So we played with it and see what we could do. And it sure as hell, we said, here's the PDF. I want you to go into this PDF, get all of the numbers, visit this website, put this into this search box, go through, blah, blah, each one, download the PDF that it needs to. I was really intrigued to see what it would do when it got to the end of it, because it had downloaded like 40 PDFs. What's it going to do with them? They're in the cloud, right? And then you watch it and it fires up a little Python script, zips them all up, and then uses a tunnel to be able to send the files from the cloud browser into your browser, and then appears in the chat and goes, here's the files I've downloaded for you. You click it and you've got the zip file. And it was fascinating to watch, because obviously, like we say, the problem here, and not necessarily a problem, it's a blessing and a curse. That computer is not my computer. It's someone else's computer in a cupboard somewhere. So to get stuff back and forth, I was intrigued to see what it was going to do. But it was a great usage case and leads on really nicely to what Comet is. So if we have a look at Comet, I'm going to flick over now. So this is a new tab. So what Comet does that is different to ChatGPT is Comet, again, like Dia, is its own web browser. It's a Chromium web browser. So again, we can install our Chrome plugins. So I've got my Bitwarden signed in up here and stuff for my passwords and things. All of our Chrome plugins work. And like Dia, when we first started, I don't want it to be my default, the first start at the beginning is it's AI first. So we can ask or navigate anything. And when I type something in here, like let's go for Anthropic Claude 4.1, because that's what we did when we're in Dia, it gives me two options. I can ask Perplexity or I can ask Google. That's fine. That's normal run-of-the-mill AI stuff, right? But what this can do, this can also do shortcuts like we had in Dia. But the shortcuts can be a list of commands to do something for you. And that's where it gets really cool. So let's try something. Let's do the same again. Let me go to LinkedIn. I'm going to open Assistant here, and I'm going to say, send Reese message saying test 2. Now, unlike ChatGPT, which fires up in the cloud, what this does is the assistant goes, well, I'm going to take control of this window, and we get this blue kind of flashing light around it. And now it's going to start clicking on things, and it's going to go around and have a look to see what it can do. It's gone in here. It's going to write a message, and it will send it. So it's took control of the browser. I can still go and take control of something else on my machine, but if I turn my machine off now, it'll stop working. It's not there. There's no cloud control in there. There are some issues, and a great example of that is, oh, here we go. Send the message. Am I happy? I'm going to press continue. I'm going to type the message and press send. So there are some issues. So if I think of, like I did earlier with, I asked OneDrive to open up a Word document for me. On here, when it does that, it opens in a new tab. And when it opens in a new tab, Comet kind of panics and gets stuck. So we can see it's finished. Let's just wait for it to finish on here, working. I'd say it takes a little longer than what I've seen, but it seems to be thinking a little bit more.
That's my experience, that it is a little bit slower.
Yeah, but if I do the same thing, so let's go over to Portal.Office, OneDrive. Let's get this to do the same thing. Just a great example. Create a Word document for me and type hello world. And this was one of the areas where it failed for me very early on. So on here, and again, we can see square on here. It's to control the screen. It's going to click the plus at the top left-hand corner. It's exactly what I want it to do. It's going to go to Word and create a Word document. Now, Word's opened in a new tab for me. But it says on here, look, it looks like the menu has closed and the page has changed and I can't see it. So I'm going to try again. And what we can see is we can see this spinning logo here to say that AI is still in the old tab. And what it's now doing is creating document after doc. And I tried this and it did it about 6 times before I was like, it's not going to find it. I stopped it. I tried explaining to it, look, when you open it, it opens in a new tab. Can you see the other tabs? And it's like, yeah, of course I can see the other tabs. You're like, well, use them then. And it didn't, which is a real shame. But there are some really cool things that I'm quite happy with this. Unlike in ChatGPT, you can create shortcuts, just like we could in Dia. So when we were doing those forward slashes. So I've got one in here. If I put in my forward slash, I've got one here called free agent timesheets. Now, this is, if I go in and edit this and have a look, this is instructions, much like I would give an intern. So for each of the entries I give you, I want you to add a timesheet to my free agent. To do that, you go to my free agent, you click on work, you go to projects. Each user will have a cohort number, which corresponds to a project. Now, the project name is actually longer than the cohort. It's got your college and all sorts of stuff written around it. I want you to find that project, go into tasks, and check that the person is available. If they are, continue. If not, stop. If you continue, go to time, add new, time slip. Then I want you to put the project in, who I am, the date of what it is, change it to the task name, set the hours to 1, and add a comment, which is booked for date, and I've put added by AI in there. Now, what I tend to do is when I'm booking one-to-ones, I kind of save them all up for a Friday, because it takes me a little while to go in, and there's no way of just importing this into free agent. And this was one of the first things I thought, can I get this to do this for me? And sure as hell, if I run this, so let me, I'm not going to obviously log into my free agent now and show you guys, but if I run this, you'll notice the first thing it says is preparing to assist, and it goes, I'm ready to receive your list. Can you upload your list for me? Use a cohort date. And as long as I provide the list like that, and it's a list with the pipes in between, I've given it up to 20 and it just cracks on and I can just go and do something else.
Yeah.
that shortcut for me is an absolute winner because yeah, we can do all sorts. They've got ones on here teach me how to use Comet. You can do all the bits that we've done before. So I could do so. You think of before we did the /social, and it does it for me. You could take this 2 steps further, where you do /social. It writes the post for you, logs into your Twitter, and posts it without any APIs, without having to do anything, because it's just taking control of your browser and using your cookies and your logins. And I think on that basis, edges just a little, but they're both good at their own thing. And I think that's the key bit. If they could put shortcuts in agents, yeah, they've got it nailed. Um, yeah, the tabs obviously work better in agent, and it's kind of yeah, six one half dozen of the other. What's your experience with it? Where are you at with it?
So I've actually how long I've had Comet, a week or so. I've actually switched over it to being my main browser because I just love it. I have little shortcuts set up that help me if I've got a lot of my jobs sometimes involves pulling the same information off the same page, collating into a spreadsheet. I've got a skill that's set up that I can just go on the page, hit the skill, it grabs the information that I need, puts that in a table, and then goes to the next one, and it just keeps building that table, and then just gives me it down as a spreadsheet, and it's just so intuitive to use, and it's quite nice. And sometimes you get to a point of a job and you're like, oh, actually, I can ask Comet just to finish this off for me, and off it goes. So it's like having an assistant that you can just go, can you just do that for me, and off it goes, and it will finish jobs that you started, or it will start a job and then you can step in and finish it. For me, it's real strength in the fact that you can just step in, you can let it step in, or you can take control over what it's doing. That's the thing that I really love about it. It does have a couple of limitations. I think I had a limitation where I was using it to write HTML blocks in a WordPress site, and it, a bit like your documents tab where it just kept opening new ones, it just kept pasting the same HTML block into the same box.
Okay.
So I ended up, I think, with it 6 times because it just got confused of, oh, I need to just select it all, delete it, paste in the new one. It just kept pasting it underneath. So it's like it doesn't like being destructive even if you've asked it to do something quite specific. The other thing I've had fun with playing with is seeing what it does when you get to a login that has a captcha. To seeing if it's human. ChatGPT won't do it.
Okay.
It says
what it just just quit straight away. That's a captcha. That's not for me.
It just says this is to stop computers. I'm a computer.
Okay.
It's like very self-aware. Comet will stop, but I found like the ones where it's text in a window, it will stop and say I can't do it. But if you then give it a screen grab of that picture and say, oh, this is the text for that box, it'll go, oh, okay, just do it and put the text in. So it's like weirdly hackable.
Okay.
But that's quite interesting, seeing it trying to click a box to say.
I think Comet's definitely it tries harder than Agent, but I don't know if necessarily that's a good thing, because I think it can do. Therefore, there's more risk of it getting something horrendously wrong. Like I say, I let it do stuff in my free agent, but I'm watching it at the moment. I'm not leaving it unchecked, because my free agent, if it sent someone an invoice or something, or deleted a client record, or there's some kind of there's big circumstances happening there. So that's really key. I'm aware that time-wise we're going to have to wrap. There's a few people still left in the room. If anybody's got any questions, please chuck them in now. I'm just going to put something a bit fun up on the screen. Obviously, we've been talking about business and stuff on here. This was something that we said actually when we started out. So this is Comet, and I've loaded up Wordle. I'm just going to put on here, play Wordle and complete it for me. Let's see what it does. Right.
I actually did this test in Agent and in Comet.
Yeah.
Comet actually played Wordle, like we're going to see. Agent went off and Googled what today's Wordle was.
Oh, okay.
and then just came back and told me what the word was without playing the game.
Okay, so it's trying to spell out crane.
Very interestingly, yours has a completely different starting word.
Why? I'm gonna. I'm just gonna ask a random question on here. I haven't played Wordle much myself. How did it know the first word was crane?
So word was an interesting thing because most people have their own starting word.
Yeah.
And the idea is that you're trying to guess the word and it will tell you which letters are right. So you want a good spread of letters. Crane
I see. So it's more like mastermind. So
yeah,
it's
exactly. Yeah.
so crane was its first word. R is the right letter. Yeah. Just
Yep.
in the final word. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool.
But R is the correct letter, but it's in the wrong place.
Okay. But it is literally playing the game, isn't it?
Yeah. And when you see that sort of stream of consciousness going through typing it, it's.
I thought I guessed it in two then.
When I got to play it earlier, I got it in 5.
But it's
Interesting.
I don't know why
it's gone for that.
Why is it going for sport? No. Okay. So it's not as clever as us because I can see those 4 letters should stay the same. It's probably storm, right?
I actually can't remember what it is, but yeah, that would be the next logical thing to try.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's got itself in a bit of a muddle, but an interesting one to
I went one further and got it to try and play Octurdle, and that completely blew its mind. It didn't like that at all.
Right.
I think
no, it's lost. It's going for short. Yeah. So it does show. Oh yeah, we're not going to be taken over by the machines anytime soon, right?
No, we're not.
Let me help it out. It's got to be storm. Like what else could that be? Storm and no, okay. Well, I leave it there then. Stalk. That was me being all cocky and confident. Yeah, cool. And I think that's a great place to end it. Thank you very much, Reese. Like we'll continue to play with these and see what we can do. But I think, like I said earlier, this is the worst version of these tools we're ever going to play with. Like they are so quick at updating these. With ChatGPT, we've got GPT-5 just around the corner. Obviously, Claude have announced their 4.1 today. Google have just announced their new deep thinking. AI is just getting better and better all the time. But now AI is not a brain in a jar. It's now, it can control things, and this is it. Yeah, it's got hands. It can do stuff. It can, look and see and take control of things. Obviously, we've got this in browser at the moment. What's next? Like, I think, are we going to have an AI that's going to be able to control the rest of our PC? Like at the moment, this is confined to that one browser, but what if it could access all of the tools on my computer? What if it can literally just do?
Yeah, what about if with chat was having to go off onto another computer to control that, if it's just doing all that natively on just controlling what's actually in your machine?
Yeah.
Which it can't be a million miles away when you see it when it's got control of other programs with just by putting text across to them.
Yeah.
So it can't be a million miles away out of the remit.
I mean, and then we do always have the age-old Jurassic Park question, just because we can. Should we? We'll wait and see. I approach these things with enthusiasm. We use them the right way. I think we're going to do some really cool things. But yeah, thank you very much for your time, Reese. Thank you for joining us, people, as well. We'll put the recording up online afterwards. And if you've got any questions at all, please feel free to hit us up. Thank you.
Speak soon.